Hi everybody, welcome to Ask Mark, our scuba diving Q&A, where I, Mark, a former dive instructor, do my very best to answer your scuba diving questions. If you do have any scuba diving questions, then pop them down in the comments section underneath this video, and if you use this Ask Mark hashtag in your comment, it gets yourself and your question featured in an up and coming video, but I do type out an answer in the comments section the best I can so that you do get an answer as soon as possible. You don't have to wait for the actual video to come out because it can take a few weeks for the video to be produced. Today I'm answering a question from OCEA about LPI hose lengths. So OCEA says, what hose length would you recommend for BCDs and Drysuit low pressure inflators? So the correct length of hose for you and your BCD or your Drysuit, it can't really be found online because there are a range of inflator locations and body shapes and sizes. So there are some standard lengths that the industry has generally settled on for most configurations, but Drysuit inflator, you want something like 80, maybe 90 centimeters of hose, something that can go around your body and then reach your actual inflator. BCD, you're talking about 60, 65 centimeters, but it really depends on your entire equipment configuration, from like where your first stage is located. If you're diving on a single cylinder, then your first stage is right behind your head, whereas if you have twin cylinders, now the first stage over your left hand side is a good 2 inches closer to it, so that can take some length off of that hose. Or if it's on the right hand side, then it's got even further to travel. So it's not a standard like simple, oh, you just need, here's your BCD hose, or here's your Drysuit hose. They come in different lengths for that exact reason. Even the corrugated hose on your BCD, they come in at least 3 standard lengths. So yeah, again, even that's one reason why a lot of BCDs, well, most BCDs come with a quick disconnect hose, because if you just had like a standard length, then chances are if you had a long corrugated hose, now it's a few inches too short, or vice versa, you got all this excess hose popping over your left hand shoulder. So yeah, they come in different lengths. The Drysuit itself, your inflator is typically on your chest, but is it going to be there? Is it going to sort of like move? If you have a front entry Drysuit, then chances are it can be like quite high up. It varies, which does make it an issue. And whether you loop it under your left hand side or your right hand side for whatever reason, over the shoulder, under the shoulder, divers do it in a lot of different ways. So the best thing to do is to physically measure it. If you've got a tape measure, that's perfect. Literally get yourself all kitted up with the first stage in place on a cylinder, how you'd normally mount it, and then yeah, literally measure it to where it needs to go around your body and everything, so that you know exactly what length. You probably get close to one of our standard measurements, but you can actually have custom lengths made up. It's a bit more expensive, obviously, but if you're like really weirdly in between two measurements and you're either going to have a lot of slack or there's no way it's going to reach it, then you can make some custom length hoses. Another useful cheat is, see if I got one, is that Scuba Pro inflators actually have a separate like head to them. Don't think I got one, and it's basically a way of turning any regulator hose into a BCD hose. So that's a really useful thing. No, I don't think I do have one. So yeah, so that is a standard DIN international fitting, and on the other side, that's a 9/16 inch regulator hose thread. So if you can't find a BCD hose that will fit, but you do have like a spare regulator hose, then you can just screw them together. I keep opening up the wrong drawers. Then you can just screw them together, and all of a sudden that regulator hose is now a BCD hose. You do have an extra failure point in it, but hey, and I totally understand why Scuba Pro did that. It means that they only have to produce regulator hoses and then the fitting, so that they can have a mixture of the two. But yeah, to get the exact length required, it's best to physically measure it around your body and all your dive equipment and whatnot, and then chances are you're probably going to settle on one of our like standard lengths, and then yeah, you can pick up a hose, but otherwise yeah, you can always get a little adapter. Yeah, hose length is a real common topic, because you can, once you get your own regulators, you can kind of do whatever you want with them and have whatever length hose and route them wherever you want. So there are a lot of different like regulator configurations that divers can come up with. There are some standardized ones, and then it depends on your cylinders, it depends on your BCD, depends on where the inflators actually are, and then it depends on the diver themselves, what shape and size they are. So yeah, there are standard lengths. You can come up with like custom lengths if you really want to, but that's quite pricey, and you'll get a limited choice of like hose styles and hose colors. They're not going to be too elaborate with their custom unless you really want to pay for it. But yeah, have a look around, try and measure it and see what like standard length you tend to fit in, and that's usually the best option. But yeah, dry suit, typically 90 centimeters. You want a bit of length to be able to get around your body, and a BCD hose, yeah, something like 60 something centimeters is pretty standard. If you have any questions, pop them down in the comment section underneath this video. If you use that AskMark hashtag, that way you get your answer then and there. A lot of the if you don't use the hashtag, I can forget, to be honest, or sort of skip over them. We have a lot of comments that that sort of run through the comment section, but if it does have that AskMark hashtag, it really highlights it, so I do see it. Otherwise, yeah, head over to our website, scubadivermag.com, see all the awesome things that we do over there. Thank you for watching, everybody, and of course, safe diving.